So I'm watching this Britain's Got Talent. I think it was. Is it great? Yeah, Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lady in the show, girl named Sydney Christmas. Now it's spelled different.
Mhm.
I guess there's a few ways to spell Sydney.
Yeah, it is.
And they did ask Sydney a question, and what was her answer, hon?
A little bit.
She actually said a little bit. So my Sydney and this Sydney said a little bit. Now, the girl was singing Simon's worst song ever, and which was "The Summer Come Out Tomorrow." The girl sang it in the way that it was completely different. It made me cry like a baby because during this time of year, it's difficult. Like right now, my mom, she passed away. She's like right there. Like my mom passed away within a foot from where I'm at, maybe 2 feet at the most. Because they say it was in the hospital, but it wasn't. It was here. So I'm watching these old shows. This is from 2024. Okay, last year. And Sydney Christmas was her real name. Great personality, like my lady's personality. And she sung that song, and then she sung My Way. My Way. I did it my way. I pride myself on being unique. And one of the things that my little bit Sydney said, I noticed that she was completely herself. To the point where if anyone would act as nice as she is, they would have to be lying or playing. But it's honest. So then this Sydney Christmas on Britain's Got Talent turns around and sings "The Summer Come Out Tomorrow." Well, all of us have been through really, 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 really hard times, and I think about my worst Christmas, and I was living inside of a karate school in Perth Boy, New Jersey. And props to my brother and partner at the time, Jeff Dunn. Incredible human being. And training partner too. And Umberto Gonzalez came to stay with me, I should say, in the school. And it was freezing inside there. It was the absolute worst winter we had in a long time. And we used to, the school was right across from Dunkin' Donuts. And twice a week, we would go and get the donuts that they used to throw out in the garbage bag. It wasn't a garbage can, and there was only donuts, so it wasn't like it was a bunch of other garbage, but still.
Yeah.
And we would eat nothing but donuts and muffins. But I always said to myself, this too shall pass. It's part of the story. This too shall pass. It's part of the story. This too shall pass. It's part of the story. It wasn't easy. I was sleeping inside of the boiler room, and the mice used to be running. And I was literally, I took all what I had as rec suits and clothing and just threw them under a mat, and then put the mat on top of it so I made like a makeshift pillow. And I remember that we got snowed then. The snow was too high, so we couldn't open the door. And we were there for 2 days.
Wow.
But lucky we had the donuts. And I kept saying to myself, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. Now this is after living in what would have been a mini mansion. So as I'm listening to this girl, Sydney, knowing that my little bit, Sydney, she turns around and she says, has your life changed? She says, a little bit.
A little bit.
And I couldn't believe it because, people think probably that your name is a little bit because she's small, but it's not that. I would ask her, are you tired? She would say a little bit. Are you hungry? A little bit. Are you, everything was a little bit. That woman's special to me. So I'm watching And I'm thinking about, man, I remember how people really used to ridicule me as a competitor because I was different. And I don't blame them because I understand that it was just, such a paradigm shift where I would dye my uniforms, but I was so poor, that I couldn't get two dyes. I could only get one. So I dyed the uniform. I tried to do it red. I tried to do it red just like the Ketsugan Warriors. Props to all of them, including my man Delgado, who's like a real brother to me. But I couldn't afford it, so I just got one dye. So it came out like peach, closer to pink, but I'd rather call it peach. Damn it! But at least it was different. It was hip hop, meaning completely different. And then I dyed one what I thought was going to be blue. It didn't come out blue. Now when you put one dye, it came out lavender. But it matched the lavender belt that I was wearing. Yesterday I spent a few hours with one of the elder statements. Just consider him one of our uncles in martial arts, Master William Mallory. And we were speaking. And I had a chance to go back in time and talk about Spanish Harlem, seeing movies like Correa Coto and Macarero de Plata, meaning Spanish movies, Santo. These were the wrestling movies that were Mexicans over at the Cosmo Movie Theater. And my grandmother, Santa Cruz. Can you get the picture of Grandma, please?
Yes.
How she used to run a social club there. How my cousins, one of them being Orlando, was one of the founders of the Renegades of Harlem. And my cousin Mono still is the patriarch of the block. And this is a photo of my grandmother. And there you can't really tell because she was darker than that. Still the bright lights. But yeah, my grandmother was black. Afro, Puerto Rican. Mm-hmm. But a phenomenal fighter. Oh my God, my grandmother was phenomenal. And she taught me values and respect about being a warrior. She even taught me how to use a knife. At age 5 years old, they used to give you knives. Meaning, since I was the oldest of the grandkids, I was a little special, so to speak, in the sense that they expected a lot from me too. Like you couldn't be a little punk, little chump, little mamá, little pendejo. In other words, you had to be a little man. And the way you become a man at any age is to earn respect. And the way you earn respect back in the days is that if you was in the room with elders, you shut the fuck up. Excuse my language, but you didn't say a damn word. And if you did that, at some point they'll call you young blood, or maybe they'll send you to the store, give you a little tip, or maybe, like in my case, I was the bartender at the get-together. And get-togethers, if somebody had a good day, like they hit the number, there was, gotta have a party. But if somebody broke up with somebody, you had to have a party. That was always the reason to have a party. So, 119 between second and third, I went to PS 96, which is right there in the block. And then we moved, 1971, to the Bronx. We moved because the Renegades, I should say, the Young Lords burned the garbage across 3rd Avenue, 109th, I believe it was. And, not 109th, 110th. And Mayor Lindsay sent the National Guard, so we moved to the Bronx. So when we moved to the Bronx, there was these other gangs. And I remember them was the Savage Nomads, the Savage Skulls. Then they had the Young Skulls. And they had the Baby Skulls. I was never involved in any of the gangs, but I knew quite a few of the people. So, again, I come to the Bronx, and I remember before that, I saw the movie Five Fingers of Death. And when we're playing tag or guns, cops and robbers, and they're shooting at me, I blocked with my iron fist. And they say, "You crazy, I shot you." "No, you didn't. You can't go through iron." And I know it sounded insane, but to me, it made all the sense in the world. 'Cause I was a pretty intelligent kid, saying, if I have iron and you shoot me, you can't penetrate me. I have the iron fist, I've just blocked the bullet. it won't go through. By April 19th, 1976, after meeting my father in the feds, he was in the federal building that we always see there
Yeah.
in the movie that we went downtown, and there's a bridge that goes from there to the Supreme Court. My father found out that he was in the military, and he actually asked me what I was into. I asked my mother. I was 9 years old, and she said martial arts. And then a few months after, using the VA check, he started giving me $200 a month, and that meant that mom was able to pay $40. I should say $80 for 2 months. So she's a bit 2 months in advance.
Yeah.
A little discount. At Tiger Kim's, April 19th, 1976. And even there, I was different. I've always been different. And I've been ridiculed for being different by many and then praised by some in the past. You had to be a leader. You had to be a leader. You couldn't be a freaking follower. You couldn't be no punk, no mamao, no pendejo. You had to be the real deal. That's not the world we live in now. Like, I don't understand why people who are my age or older forget or give in. When I see martial arts tournaments, I'm completely disgusted. I'm embarrassed, and not just because of the performance of the kids, 'cause it's not their fault. It's my peers who became old farts and don't even give a damn no more, and they let the madness happen. How could martial arts not look dangerous any longer? I don't mean in the flips and stuff like that. Like, what the hell does that have to do with martial arts? And it has nothing to do with being a hater when it comes to skills, because for what I was worth, I can show you videos when I was doing flips, kicks, and splits, and not just martial arts, but in hip-hop. So I did martial arts at the hip-hop jams, and I did my dancing, still do at martial arts jams, because I'm a combination of both, like most of you guys, if you're really into music. If not the DJ, the dancer, what have you. But again, I wanted to be a top fighter, and in New York, they had the tournaments on Sundays. And every stinky, nasty, freaking gym, like Mitchell Projects, or Mitchell Gym, I should say, from the projects, the PAL, the YMCAs, these places were filled with talented people, but it was so ghetto and nasty. I don't come from that. I came from Taekwondo, and we used to go to the Felt Forum of Madison Square Garden, and we went to these gyms. Like when my instructor threw his first tournament, I wasn't even in martial arts 2 months before I went to my first tournament.
Wow.
And my instructor, Supreme Grandmaster Sang-Soo Tiger Kim, who happened to have the best body I've ever seen in martial arts. I don't give a hoot about Bruce Lee or what would be even Jun Lee. These guys might have been in great shape. Not compared to Tiger Kim. Tiger Kim made them look like little boys. But not only that, he could jump through the air like nobody else could. The only one I seen do it better than him were his sons. So these are the people that I have to pay homage to, the ones that were like superheroes to me. And today, I can't even see that in certain areas when I go watch it. And it breaks my heart, because people really think that that 10-year-old kid doing the same form that he did with no weapon, now he might as well put a toothpick in his hand and start, or whatever. It's just a different world. And I'm not mad at those people, guys. I understand that it's a complete different world. But you know what? I haven't freaking changed. I still have honor and respect. And I still got to get home safe, because this is a freaking boogie down Bronx. I don't live in West Bubblefuck. And even those who live in the area, I cannot be soft. My mother she'll be freaking, first of all, she's here, because she got cremated. She'll come and haunt me tonight and whip my ass. Do the right thing. I became a top fighter. I had a chance to compete against a whole bunch of legends, and I freaking beat the majority of them. And that's just a historical fact, and there are videos to prove it. And we continue to find more of them, because otherwise they think I'm a liar. And that's the last thing I ever have been. I started this thing called New York's Finest Karate Academy in 1982. I put Jonas Nunez down, who I used to train with in the basement. Yes, but he did not teach me what I did in tournaments. What he did teach me was how to have heart, because he was doing full contact. And I was a 120 pounds, 14-year-old kid when I started, actually 15-year-old kid when I started working out with him. But I met him in 1979. And when I met him, we went to a karate tournament that we wasn't supposed to go to. I wasn't supposed to go to because it was not part of the whole Taekwondo circuit. And we went and won a bunch of trophies, and there was like 7 people in one little car. So we do have, and I love doing this because we do have a lot of experience. I consider him like a big brother. But I can't lie and say that he was my instructor. Absolutely not. Now, he might say that, but that's his habit. He said Timeout was his instructor too. Again, I did learn from him, and what I learned was how to have heart. Him and I went together in 1981 to the U.S. Open. I instigated it. Yep. I've always been the type of person to say, I'd rather lose to somebody than beat nobody. And the standards were just too low when it came to tournaments in New York. After I won the U.S. Open in Florida, where there was literally well over 1,000 competitors in this big gym auditorium. I saw Steve Nasty Anderson win grand champion. I saw Tony Young, who actually beat Jonas in the first round. I saw Joey Shiflett. Oh my God. Gary Michak. These were the top competitors of the time. Scorpion Barrage, I believe, was there too. And Robert Harris. Keith Vitale had already stopped competing. So he didn't compete in that particular event. But I knew about these guys, watching them in the magazines. Then years after, I had a chance to meet them all, and fight against quite a few of them, and beat quite a few of them. And it wasn't because of the guidance that I had in New York. New Yorkers weren't doing this. They weren't freaking staying in the little local tournaments. Not saying that I didn't have the talent to go out there and fight nationally, but I wanted to test my skills. Plus, with me, winning a trophy was not the thing. I needed money. My oldest son was born when I was 17 years old, BJ. BJ stands for Baby Jerry, so we changed it to Baby J. So BJ. And he was born in August 25th of 1983. 25th or the 23rd? Oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm not even sure. I apologize, BJ. But my point is that I'm watching this TV show of this lady young girl named, well, she's 28, 29 now. 29 now.
Yep.
Named Sydney Christmas, and she was singing, and I did it my way. And I've always done it my ways. Now, when I started teaching martial arts classes, I started New York's Finest Karate Academy in 1982 in the Head Start here on 161st and Park Avenue. By the time 1985 comes in, I become the assistant because Tokyo Hill had Joe Louis, that's Joelewis, Grandmaster Joe Louis, who trained with not just Bruce Lee, but Sugar Ray Robinson, and I learned the left-right drill from him and the circle drill. And I started making some adjustments accordingly, because that's good for boxing, but it wasn't good for the kicking. But I was his assistant 3 times between 1985 and 1986. But going back to 1981, when I went, imagine you fighting in a karate tournament, and that's literally, I did forms for the intermediate division, and I made it up on the spot. Made up a form on the spot and took first place. And then for fighting, I fought in the Super Juniors, which was brown and black belt. Technically, I was just a green belt. But I really wasn't. I was a brown belt in Taekwondo. I just didn't have the heart to wear that belt because you didn't know how to. I didn't know how to throw no punches and dare a lot of sweeps and all that groin kicks. So I think it was just different. So I knew how to. I was in control of my career, and I had to make sure that I did things accordingly. By the time the next year comes in, 1986, I was already wearing my black belt. 1982, I was already wearing my black belt and fighting and winning black belt junior division, and then I actually placed in black belt men 2 times in 1982, where I should have got rated. by Karate Illustrated. Did a photo shoot right in the hallway, people seeing the jumping straddle and then the punch. My point was that I've always been a person who looked behind the so-called curtain and not get caught up in the Wizard of Oz. That's when I hear the sun come out tomorrow. Yeah. All of us have gone through ups and downs, and there is another tomorrow. You might be going through a down right now. And you're going through freaking, all I'm saying is this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Kick some ass because this too shall pass. Never, 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 never give up. Ever give up. Because you are the greatest creation ever made. And remember that. It does not matter what anybody else thinks negative about you. It's none of your freaking business. Your business is to get better than you. Better than you. Better than you. Better than you. You are a warrior. And you can't be a warlord like my brother there, George Santos, who gave me the Taino Nation jacket, and I really appreciate it. So, again, all I'm saying is that you got to raise your standards and mind your freaking business. When people turn around and ridicule you, that means you're doing something right. If they're not hating on you, you're doing something wrong. And they will copy you. They will copy you. I started teaching karate in 1982. It was because of the belief of my big brother, Henry Jackson, a.k.a. Mickey. I didn't want to teach. I didn't see myself as a teacher. I saw myself as a fighter. He thought I was going to be able to be a good teacher, and he was right. I was wrong. And he took care of me in so many different ways. I love that man. My father put me into martial arts. I stopped doing Tiger Kings because they only competed once a year. And I wanted to compete more than that. I wanted to compete more than once a year. Then we relocated, and yeah, that's telling me right there, my man Mickey. I apologize, guys. I won't be able to answer anything here, but Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate during this time. Happy holidays too. But I'm watching this young lady who literally was spending a lot of time, wasting a lot of talent, and I've been called that. Mickey even said that. Great Grandmaster Aaron Banks said that. The career that I was supposed to have, according to some, was supposed to be in entertainment. Poor Vizio, see for himself, who lived in the same block as my grandmother in Queens, New York, where I used to go over the weekends. That's when I started sparring with other people, when I was 13, 14 years old. I've always loved martial arts since Mrs. P was chopping people in the neck. And Agent 99 was doing the same thing, and Captain Kirk was doing the same thing. I've always been into into martial arts and wrestling, like a lot of us. But, and I'm going to jump around for a second. Right now, there's pioneers and legends, OGs, older guys and older girls, who are still involved in martial arts. They go to tournaments, and they get disrespected, and have been for so long, and they continue to go because there's nowhere else for them to go. And I'm talking about when they go to a karate tournament, and they have a 40 above or 30 above division, and they have everybody in the same category, and sometimes you have to fight. They wanted me to fight a 21-year-old for grand champion, which I would have done that gladly. I've done that before, and then I was smart enough to ask the promoter, who his son was the person I was going to fight, and I asked him, is there any money? They said no. And I said, then I'm not going to fight. And somebody would say, well, why you got to fight for the money? I'm a freaking professional. I'm a professional. Amateurs don't get paid. Professionals get paid. That's why I throw a martial arts tournament and or circuit, and I'm giving away $3,500. Why would I give $3,500? Because they deserve it. That's out of respect, and that's because I don't have any sponsors as of yet. But trust me, I'll get some, and I might have to change those. What would be those standards? So, U-Man OG is now the U-Man Pro League. U-Man OG Pro League. Because you're professionals, damn it. And so I spoke to someone today, and they said they don't really care about, the money. They want to do it for the legacy. And which is fine. But what's wrong with having a damn legacy with some freaking money? At least to be able to pay your freaking bills to get back to the location. How about this? Your wife will want you to have some freaking money. If you went to a tournament and you were able to win $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, whatever case, maybe even $500, trust me, she would send you out to go do that. Point is that sometimes we get involved in things, and from an artist standpoint, we don't want to get paid. But forget that. You need to pay your bills. So yes, I'm giving away 70 and above gets $500 in fighting, $500 in forums, and most people say, "Are you gonna have anybody for 70?" Well, maybe I will now. Build it and they will come. I heard that in the movie, but more importantly, they deserve it, man, and they earned it. The 50 and 60-year-olds, you earned it too. The 30-year-olds, well, you started to earn it, but still put you in there. 30 and 40-year-olds, you have your own grand champion. The divisions of every 5 years. Are people going to copy that? Yes. They always copy my shit. And that's okay. I want them to. I want them to give away more money than me for the division and the tournament so I can go fight and win their money too. I want to compete. The heck. But there's nowhere for me to go. Either I have to fight young guys or I have to fight old guys that are out of shape. And I feel freaking embarrassed sometimes, that I don't get a chance to go all out. But I want to. And then when people say, well, go to this tournament, that tournament, come on, you guys, don't insult me. If you think that a slap to the shoulder is a freaking point, there's something wrong with you. You've been around for the last 30 years, but I can show you pre that, and I have. If you look at my videos, I show them all. How before that, the ball had to go in the hoop, not just hit the rim. Then in forms too, how you going to have these freaking green belt kids doing Japanese, or I should say, doing black belt forms? It's cheating. It's horrible. Stop it. And I have to make believe somehow that that's supposed to be, legit, like good. No, I go to those tournaments, I turn my back to the competitors, and I speak to the people who I care about, which is my OGs. I love children too, but you know what? The OGs should be respected because they became and are the elders. But they also have to have a place to be able to be respected at, and that's why February 28th, the U-Man OG. For those of you who can make it, for those of you who want to be there. And don't tell me that, oh, well, I'm in Alabama. I had somebody come from Alabama, 3 people. Oh, I'm in Arizona. We had 2 people from there. Oh, I'm in California. Someone came from California too. I'm in Ohio. I'm in Kentucky. Marty Eubanks came from Kentucky. He's coming again. So don't give me the excuse that you are too far. You don't have to come. You don't have to come. But don't make that as a freaking excuse, because I have more people come from other states than they did from Connecticut. They came from all over. Why? Because it's about us. Us one. We are all important. I've been ridiculed as a competitor. Why are you moving so much? I've been ridiculed as a school owner. Why you have so many students on the floor at the same time? Why you have so many schools? Huh? The curriculum works. So they can never ever say that, oh, well, Fontenot, when he had 10 students, he was really good. But when he had 1,000, they weren't really that good. They can't say that because we used to win every division, even when we had a small school. But I always taught things that actually worked, that was proven to work. And I'm sharing it, and I've been sharing it since my first seminar that I did for old Sensei Felix Vasquez himself in Brooklyn, Bushwick, and that was in 1984. So I've been doing seminars since 1984. Wow, that's a long time. Do the math, that's 40 years. Oh my God, didn't even think about that. My point is that mind your business. You can get better. Then I started designing uniforms. No, I started that when I did the graffiti in the back of the uniforms, when I put the uniforms in different colors. Mickey actually still has the blue uniform from Century with the original New York's Finest patch. The original New York's Finest patch that I made as a sketch. And Mel Klein from Cam Sports in New Jersey actually did the patch from my sketch. Fabian Carrillo, Fabian Carrillo, a.k.a. the Latin Dragon, that was a movie called The Latin Dragon. He was the star. He was my black belt student, along with Mickey, along with the Ox, who might compete in the next tournament, but came to the first tournament. So I want to reach out to those people who think that they never had a chance to become the champions they wanted to. If you're 70, you're the youngest in the 70 to 74 division. If you're 80, you're the youngest in the 80-84 division. The 85 years old was the oldest person who competed. 35 was the youngest. and 65 was the average age. Hanchi Derek Williams won Grand Champion forms in 60 above, and the legendary Marty Eubanks from Kentucky won Grand Champion fighting, and Jose, aka Tito, won 2 Grand Championships in the 40 and 50-year-olds. The 40-year-olds didn't compete because one got dragged away by the father, even though they won, and they came all the way from New Jersey. The other one left because someone said to him, "Oh, you're going to fight these old people," which is crazy. So they cock blocked, so to speak. Yeah, I said that. Apologize. But now, as a school owner, as a competitor, as a manufacturer of rec suits, the real easy kicking suits. Real easy kicking suits. Rec suits. They've been copied by many, 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 many. Most of you, or a lot of you, are wearing a cheap copy of mine. That if you have mine from 1997 is the first one. But in 2000, we started selling quite a bit. So that's a quarter of a century ago, which is crazy when I think about it. But those uniforms still fit you to this very day, or I should say, they still look just about the same. And everybody comes to me and says that to me. And then in the meantime, when I started doing the joint venture a few years ago, they didn't support it, which is fine. You don't have to. But my point is that action speaks louder than words, and a lot of times people are just full of crap, I will be doing a special only because Kevin Mongoose Thomas asked me to do this, and I said, okay, I'll do it. So between today, Christmas Day, and New Year's to midnight, we will give that same special before. So if you register and you get you pay $100, you're gonna get up to 3 divisions. You will get that song again. You'll get the interview and a few other things that I had laid out way back when. So I'm going back to that. Go to humanog.com and it'll be up by tomorrow, expanding it all. But I got emotional because this girl Sydney, was singing My Way, and my gosh, she was incredible. And Britain Got Talent, and that reminded me I've done things my way. I've always done things my way because I'll never be a sellout. I have sold out a lot of T-shirts and so on and so forth, equipment, spots on the floor. And do I still do seminars? Absolutely. I did one for the warlord, George Santos himself a few months ago. And I will continue to do it. January 31st, chances are a very good chance I'm going to be fighting in Las Vegas at Stan Wood's tournament. And I want to lead by example. We put in 12 rounds of sparring, or 13 rounds of sparring today. Master Thai. Yes, on the holiday when most people are getting fat and eating more, or the hangover from last night. I catch people on vacation. I always catch them when we train when they're damaging themselves. Anyhow, I had to come on here just to say that in the spirit of great Grandmaster Aaron Banks, my mentor, who was on payroll for over 3 years, I will become the #1 martial arts promoter in the world by using honor and respect and bringing some respect and honor back to the martial arts competition. And it starts with the OGs, older guys and older girls. We still guys and girls that could do things, just a little older. January 10th, my birthday. Come on down to the Fast Feet Dojo, guys. My favorite birthday is always me sparring as much as possible. So if you come down and you come at 6 in the morning, and we'll do some sparring. It'll be slow motion sparring. I'm not here to beat anybody up. And if we have to go meet him, whatever the case may be, I'll spar the whole freaking day. Help me get these 30 pounds down that I would rather be at. Because I want to lead by example. When I go to tournaments that happen to be with other letters, I'll go and we'll go at the OGs. I'll compete in some of those tournaments, except I'm not going to do it the way, the open hand glove to the shoulder, raising your hand. Man, forget that. You guys got enough places to play with that. I'm not with that. That's embarrassing. It's disgusting. And I can't support it. For years I've gone to those tournaments and I competed in some of them, but I can't do it. I really can't do it. I would rather, save face by using. He got this tournament league in Long Island, and they got mats that are grappling mats. You sink in. That's dangerous for your knee. I'd rather fight on the wooden floor, safer. As crazy as it sounds. Then you got these promoters that are making me, and the rest was fine, wear headgear. Well, you know what? I'm a freaking promoter, and the headgear is optional. They don't push that in no freaking insurance rules, you liars. Some of you are my friends, freaking liars. Now I'm giving away again $3,500 this time. I'm in a little tournament with only 30 and above competitors. Most 30-year-olds aren't even there yet because they still go to some of the big tournaments because they allow them to be on stage. But us, they want us under the stage. Anyone who's above 40, it's like you got to be under the stage. And we precede all of these circuits, all of them. Here before NASCAR, helped develop the NBL. That's the reason why people were able to fight with groin kicks for many years in their regions, and the Super Grands had groin kick one year, no groin kick the next year. That was freaking me. Wasn't that idiot who used to stay in my house and call me at 3, 4 in the morning. You guys know what I'm talking about? Freaking boys like that. Man, we've had so many freaking phonies and frauds being positioned in leadership and power, and now the ones who are legitimate have become soft, sissy punks. How can you win a grand championship? How can you win a world championship and not get $1? Not $1. And the place is packed with people competing from all over the world. And they going home with not even $1. And how can people think that's okay? Their wives would not like that. Yeah, I'm going to spend $1,000 to go compete in Europe, and I'm going to win the world championships. I'm going to come back with less than $1. No. And for those of you who think that martial arts tournaments shouldn't be giving financial compensation, then don't charge for them to compete. That's not the case, guys. Someone has to pay for things for it to work, but you should be able to give a cut. That's my belief. That's the way I'm going to do it. You guys decide what you want to do. But I had to come on here and I had to share that being unique, being different, having values and respect, honor and respect, is still important, guys. And all of you, I don't care who you are, whether you have a bad knee or a bad back, that's another thing too. We have these tools, these super patches and other things that can help people. But then they don't use them, so it doesn't work. Why should you be in pain when you don't have to? But you will take those damn drugs with all the side effects. Sometimes, now I understand. People don't like change. I get it. But I'm telling you right now, if you are not using all of the tools that can help you even function, walk around with no pain, I'm feeling phenomenal. And I'm also feeling dangerous because I'm moving faster than I have in decades. And it can't be just because of the training, because I couldn't do the training. It's because I am properly arming myself with the tools. One arm here alone, there's 4 patches. 4 patches right here in one arm. 4 patches, yes, 4 patches. And it's a great business. I'm in the business of helping my father, who had 2 strokes, I had no idea, literally dance again. My father's dancing again. I didn't even know he had 2 strokes. So all I'm saying is that raise your standards, don't give in. This is Grandmaster Jerry Fasr Fontanez, and I've earned everything I've done because God bless the child who has his own. And I am not in the best position that I've ever been financially as of yet, but I'm happy and grateful now that I help as many people as possible take things to a whole other level, that finances is not an issue any longer. I'm speaking this into existence because the truth of the matter is that we will be back in Madison Square Garden. Trust me. That's the goal. And I have a whole bunch of other plans. Raise your standards, raise your standards, raise your standards, because your left pinky is incredible. God made it. God made you. On that note, God bless you. Merry Christmas. AB, see you.